You've seen a karate master break through a wooden board, right? Imagine you are that karate master. In front of you are not one, but two layers of boards, and you must break through both layers to call it a success. Communicating your company's innovation to a global market works just like that. In today's digital economy, businesses in all industries are seeking new ways to innovate and reinvent themselves to survive. You may wonder, what's the most critical factor in leading disruptive innovation? Is it the big idea or big funding, inspiration or perspiration, taking risks or following processes? It's all of the above, but none of the above is the single most critical factor. Turning a game-changing idea into a sustainable business requires one other vital ingredient. Over 2 decades of experience in consulting global companies, I found that the single most critical factor is communication. In order to effectively communicate your innovation to a global market, there are 2 roadblocks, or I should say woodblocks, that we need to break through. One is the internal barrier. Innovation is a team sport. Disruptive innovation comes from a diverse cross-functional teams harnessing marketing, sales, R&D, human resources, operations, or engineering. By working together, their differences make teams stronger. Diverse teams, however, can also be a source of internal conflict when those differences put people at odds with their own perspectives. From start to finish, open communication should underpin your entire effort if you want to be disruptive, not disrupted. Second roadblock to breakthrough is the external barrier. Innovation can be disruptive because no one has seen it, done it, thought of it that way, which also means that general public will not understand the value of your innovation yet. You need to communicate the big idea, the values, what this innovation means to them, and take the innovation closer to their everyday life. If you don't communicate effectively, you may face resistance to the idea from your audience, and your business will be disrupted, not disruptive. Especially in a global business environment, just because the same language, or let's say English, is spoken doesn't mean that your message is clearly heard. You need to communicate clearly, powerfully, and persuasively beyond our cultural differences. Then what do we do to communicate our innovation effectively so that we can break through not one, but 2 layers of woodblocks? My company, Breakthrough Speaking, works with global organizations that want to elevate cultural inclusion and have their leaders communicate effectively beyond differences. And we do so through cross-cultural communications training, global presentation coaching, and keynote speeches. Today, you will receive 2 tools from our breakthrough method to get your messages not only clearly heard, but also acted upon. The first tool is to break through the internal layer. That is, good questions. Ancient Greek philosopher Diogenes said, "We have 2 ears and 1 tongue so that we would listen more and talk less." Listening is so important, especially in a diverse team. But you don't want to just listen. You want to actively listen. How do we do that? Ask good questions, because answers you receive are as good as the quality of your questions. Good questions are something that people are willing to answer, and they encourage the other person to think deeper, dig deeper into themselves, look for answers within, and volunteer the information. For example, does your innovation make things easier? This question doesn't get your answer as deep as, why is this innovation important to you? The latter is a good question. Good questions get people to think, relate, and understand at a deeper level. That's why good questions help you to uncover what common sense might be buried in your diverse team, surface them, and determine how you can adapt your communication without sacrificing your values and beliefs so that your message is not only clearly heard, but acted upon. The second tool you received today is to break through the external layer. That is strategic storytelling. Great speakers, entrepreneurs, and CEOs have something in common. It is that they are great storytellers. They understand that in order to influence people and move them to action, you have to be able to trigger their emotions. Before you sell anything, you need your audience to connect with you. They need to understand your why and identify with you on a more personal level. That why is your story behind that innovation. The why is their story that they're going to experience with this innovation. And there is no better way to communicate the why than to tell a compelling story, because story is a universal language. And I have created the 6 C's of strategic storytelling that will help you to be authentic, meaningful, and powerful by communicating your messages using storytelling. And if you're curious to learn more about how to craft a strategic story, I invite you to scan this QR code and download my ebook now. Okay, don't be shy. Take out your phone now and scan the QR code. Ready? Okay. This is a free gift from me for the esteemed Global Chamber members. And after the download, you will receive my e-magazines where you can learn more about the good questioning technique, strategic storytelling, cross-cultural communications, and more. If you implement these tools that you learned today, you will communicate your innovation effectively to a culturally diverse audience and break through not 1, but 2 layers of barriers like a karate master. Thank you.